So now that Trump is in office, there's a new US regulation that's gonna require and impose tax on every dropshipping product coming from China to the United States. And if you're not prepared for this, my friend, you're gonna get fucked. Now, I've been running dropshipping stores for about 6 years now, and I've generated over $30 million in revenue. Now, this is a really big problem, and we need to figure out how to avoid this and be prepared for whatever implications this is gonna have. So when I found out about this a few days ago, I went down a very deep rabbit hole trying to understand what are the implications of such regulation, what do I need to do in order to be prepared, and how do I adapt with current brands that I have and future dropshipping brands, because I don't want to be caught with my pants down, and neither should you. And whether we like it or not, it's definitely coming. I mean, it's been coming for a while now, and it just got passed. So the time to act on this is now. Cool, so let's go back to simpler times before this regulation. In the past, you would get an order through Shopify. Your supplier or whatever app you're using to fulfill this order would catch that order, fulfill it, add the product, add the shipping address and label, and send it on its way to the customer. Pretty simple. The order would go through customs and delivered to your customer's doorstep. No problem at all. You didn't need to see the product, touch the product, or really do anything. As soon as you got the order, your supplier would take care of the rest. Pretty simple, no? Now, with that new regulation in place, things are a bit different. The process is no longer straightforward A to B from your supplier to your customer. Now, you or your customer have to pay this tariff. And here's the worst part. Not only is this gonna be a logistical nightmare, but this new import tax is gonna be anywhere from 5 to 25%, which is gonna eat at your net profit margin like crazy. Now, here's the good news. We still have about 18 months for this new regulation to take place, so we do have some time to plan and put together a good plan of action. Now, one thing to also note is there always has been a lot of talk on new regulations being pushed, and most of them never really go through. So this could be one of those, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be. So now you're probably wondering, okay, so what are my solutions here? You got really two solutions. Solution number one is use US fulfillment, which is gonna be a lot more expensive because they still have to pay a lot of taxes, and warehousing costs in the US are abnormally high. Solution number two is to expand to other markets in Europe, Canada, Australia, where you don't really have these tax implications. Now, I'm pretty sure this is gonna have a lot of regional effects, positive ones, for that matter. And what I'm referring to is our next door neighbor, Mexico. Mexico is gonna be forced now to utilize its free trade agreement with the US, which is gonna push a lot of these factories, suppliers, and fulfillment centers to station in Mexico and ship to the US, which is gonna reduce shipping times and most likely shipping fees. So in other words, all the shipping suppliers from China and 3PLs are gonna be forced to move to Mexico and ship from there, which is great for us who are on the other side of this and dropshipping. Now, speaking of suppliers, if you don't have your own private supplier, especially if you're doing 10 orders a day or more, you're leaving so much money on the table. You need to have a private supplier because they will not only ensure fast shipping 3 to 7 days from China to the US, but they will also provide you with a lot cheaper rates. And if you don't have a private supplier, or even if you do, feel free to reach out to me on my Twitter account or on my Instagram account in the description, and I will introduce you to my private supplier who will most likely guaranteed offer you cheaper COGS than what you're paying right now, and faster shipping, as well as cheaper shipping rates. Trust me, you do not want to miss out on that because it's completely free. You don't pay anything. You just request a quote and my private supplier will provide you with that. So it's a win-win for you. Now, whether or not China actually goes through with this is up for debate. But what's not up for debate is that dropshipping is only getting more challenging every year. More competition, raising advertising costs, so many issues and hurdles that you have to go through, especially if you don't know what the hell you're doing. That's why dropshipping beginners like Anthony, Mo, Chemo all took advantage of my one-on-one mentorship in order to avoid having to deal with all these problems on their own. With my help, these guys have built multiple six-figure brands and they knew nothing about e-com when they started. And they did all of that within under a year. Otherwise, click here because YouTube thinks you like this video.